this Dusty lineup, they can still siege very, very, competently with what they've got. And now the Gragas provides another means to sort of disengage on the Jarvan, or even an engage if they find a little bit of poke or some CC onto any of those members defending that. But Will, what do you see on our screens?
I see League of Legends on our screens right now, Jamada. We've got X7, we've got Dusty, we've got a studio. I was a little bit lost though. I turned up. They were like, we want you to cast some Northern League of Legends.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. Put me in the studio, and they were like, cool, head out to Germany. And I was like, something's lost in translation here, team. But we are here. I'm excited to get into this one. Of course, X7 been performing very, very well so far this split. Of course, only dropping that one game. Dusty have had a massive turnaround, actually. Initial couple of weeks, they looked ropey.
Looked dire. I think it would be safe to say. I looked at Dusty and thought, this is definitely a team that could contest, bare minimum top 5, like worst case, like 6th place in playoffs. And they just didn't really open the split like that. Now, like you say, big turnaround. They've been looking a lot better in the most recent weeks. And there's loads of things you're going to attribute to it. I think it's just a very team effort, realistically, with, of course, members showing up when it matters most. Looking at the early game, both these junglers lying on the top side. We did see a ward cleared out. Yeah. Dusty's ward onto X7's blue buff, so it seems like they'll have a rough idea of where Haru's starting, but has that stopped this man before in the past? It really hasn't. Haru has just been on a bit of a tear.
It's a case of you can know where he is, it doesn't matter. It's just a case of they'll turn up, Haru will cause your team some difficulties, and then at 25 minutes you'll go and have dinner. Is kind of what we've been seeing a lot. I mean, the whole X7 roster has looked so good so far, but of course the Deskers, they talked about that. People in the League of Legends world watching at home know what to expect from these two teams. This is a very, very nice matchup for both of these sides because Dusty are the kind of team that you could see potentially slipping up at X7. Of course, X7 losing out to Bifrost as their only loss. Maybe not the team that we'd expect to beat them, but turning up on the day doing just that. And Dusty, they have that vibe about them, don't they?
There is something about
you can feel it in the air.
I don't wanna, manifest things randomly. But if X7 lost here today to Dusty, I wouldn't necessarily be crazy surprised. I think it's like X7 throughout the split, not in the sense of okay, X7 are like some team now just gonna slip up at any given moment, but X7, especially in the earlier stages, they started to have fun with things, right? Things like that Twitch, was it Twitch Yumi in the bottom lane?
Yeah, the Twitch Yumi. Tom and Jerry.
So they're Tom and Jerry, so they're very prone to just kind of saying, hey, you know what? Let's throw the book out the window. Let's have a little bit of fun. Speaking of having a little bit of fun, Viking is trying to find some kind of path towards the bottom lane, try and flank this X7 bottom lane, but it looks like an engage first.
Coming on through, going to be hit with a flare as well. Venza needs to be careful, but Kasink also very, very low, burning low. FGG goes forward, picks up first blood. Venza will fall, and Viking is coming in to support the Lux. You've got the flag and drag. It's going to go wide, but it's going to get Haru into range. He's going to jump on his Zinzao. He's going to go low. Nasa can't get the last auto attack, but Haru comes through. Both junglers, only one surviving here as Haru stepping forward, feeling himself a little bit. Both hit level 3, but Viking gets the damage. The double kill coming in for the Zinzao.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you, actually, play by play.
Of course, that's my job. It'd be very rude if you did.
Viking had his Conqueror stacked up, so he kept all of the bonus AD to win out on that skirmish versus Haru. Haru selected lethal tempo. I'm not sure if that's a rune misclick there, but starts off, of course, very nice hook by Kasink to try and get the engage going, but Venza just doesn't lose enough HP to immediately die in that burst. Whereas, I mean, well, you saw very clearly Kasink dies quite quickly, no aftershock like what we've seen for years, of course, Glacial Augment. And it just allows Viking to come in, use Haru as a bit of a taxi and get onto Nata. But here you can see, like, it starts to stack up, right? The lethal tempo, it starts to stack up, but it's just not really enough in terms of raw stats against Viking with that stacked up Conqueror. As Haru makes his way back to the top side, does pick up that Scuttle up there. Viking didn't actually take the Scuttle Crab on the bottom side. I think there's a lot of time, or the Scuttle itself hadn't actually spawned up yet. He has now finally picked it up, though. It didn't really get any counter invades go in either on the bottom side. It was just straight up free camps into bottom side, and we see that skirmish.
A lot of poke coming out, of course. When you've got Caitlyn Lux, we'll be seeing this. It's not fun. Don't get hit by the abilities, basically, because you have a very unpleasant time, especially in the late game. Of course, pre-6, it's not as bad, but if Lux is able to get that ultimate down, things can be pretty spooky. But of course, Jinx Fresh, we've seen. I want it to be marksman in the meta. Do you know what, Jamada? I'm putting my foot down. Bring back Callista. That's all I'm saying.
I was having a conversation with Gorwald about this morning, actually.
Oh, Ilif might be having a conversation with the Fountain in a second. Haru moving forward, gets the auto attack down, but Gragas is level 5. Nice knockup, but I mean, that wasn't ever really a dive.
Yeah, I guess not. I just don't feel like they necessarily had enough burst damage available. Jaeger looks like he more or less just kind of wanted to reset, given his mana bar. And I think the fact that Jaeger didn't have enough mana to, really make the dive be a confirmed takedown. They just go for that reset for him. But yeah, no, I think actually though, there was a lot of talk on the desk about, you know, okay, Fedios is going to come in here and then all of a sudden it's Caitlyn first rotation. I quite like this from Venza and FGG because whilst I think throughout the split they've had their ups and downs as a 2v2, it does feel like they normally come out ahead in most of the scenarios in their 2v2 lanes. Going to hold this point. They're looking on to Tempt by just Ding's level 6, so should be alright on that front. And of course, I think the other important thing is it shuts down, obviously, Nato and Kasing in lane. One of the strong points about Jinx naturally is, you know, you switch over to the Rockets, you typically get auto shove in your lane, and it frees up the support partner to go up towards the mid lane and find some impact there. We've seen throughout this laning phase so far, FGG and Venza have kept Nato and Kasing on a leash. They've just not been able to move from their lane at all. And what it's also allowed is a lot of freedom for Viking to come down towards the bottom side. He's had pretty much free access everywhere, whether it's camps, or whether it's this dragon, which is taking up at 6 minutes. So that's going to be first dragon going over to Dusty, pretty much uncontested. I imagine X7 may have had an idea what was going on, but of course they will get the global ding now that it has gone down. So a nice, clean early game so far for Dusty. I think probably going as well as they had hoped. The CS lead on the bottom side, only about 5 in it, and this wave is going to stack up, so it will probably grow a little bit. But still, Vendor and FGG on that bottom side, achieving their main goal right now. Keep Na and Kasing underneath the tower. Don't allow the Thresh to go up towards the mid lane and impact anywhere else.
Well, it's something that we were talking about a little bit this week before we traveled out. We were talking about FGG specifically.
Yeah.
And about how much of a revelation he's been. And this isn't the first time that FGG has been a revelation.
No.
When it comes to coming into the top league in a continent, a region, and has played exceptionally well. I believe we have a couple of graphics that we might be able to have a look at. Actually, we're getting No, you know what? The Lantern saves the cheeky throw to the graphic.
True.
Because
it was also involving FGG, who found a very lovely...
You know, we're professionals. We know what we're doing.
Well, you might be. I don't
know if I'd go that far over, honestly, but he's been good, isn't he?
Yes, FGG has been very, very strong. And like you said, the progress has been startling almost. You don't really see players rise through the ranks like what we've seen FGG accomplish in the last sort of 6-7 months or so. There's Haru on the opposite side from where FGG is laning. Takes out the Skull Crab a little bit too soon for the Herald to be started up, but you look at the lane priority already. Ping's coming onto the red buff. It seemed like Tempt maybe wanted to try and get some kind of roam down, maybe alleviate some pressure and fog onto the bottom side, but red buff being started up, but the issue is Viking's here. So it's going to be contested at the very least, but first move is to Jaeger and to Tempt 100%, and you can see the ping's already coming down.
Oh, but that's right, it's going to be used. Viking needs to be careful, loses out the buff, but won't lose his life as he steps back up towards the top side. And now Tempt moving back towards the mid lane. As you said, priority so crucial, is able to secure that one. And now we've got Rift Herald on the map. Nice charm landing, but Ari's going to take a little nap and a bit of damage to boot. But Rift Herald's on the map. It has been warded out by Dusty, so they're not going to be able to sneak it away. With X7 having pretty good control, is this still something they can do?
Yes, 100%. The only issue is the bottom lane priority is so heavily in favor of Dusty that if this does take a little while for X7 to get down, which right now they're looking for maybe to set up onto Alif, it's a bit hard to say. But you can see the junglers obviously, you know, looking like they know that action is brewing. But if this takes a while for X7 to get started, and Dusty obviously have all the information, if FGG and Venza can get, you know, a wave shoved in and move up first, that's going to be a really big deal in terms of, you know, an outright fight breaking out. As you can see, it's hard to see on the minimap, but it seems like they are, at the very least, they have priority, so they're hard shoving. Dusty understand this is going on. They're looking for Jaeger.
They're going to hit Jaeger back towards the minion wave. Jace needs to be careful. Speeding away. Goes low, but does survive. Viking thinking about the dive, but Haru has now disengaged the Rift Herald and gets the knock up down onto Viking. He's going to knock him away. The Cataclysm comes through, and Tempt is the first responder from the mid lane. Diving on forward, picking up some damage. Viking survives with a sliver of health. Alif cut down by Haru. Tempt, his compatriot, will take down the kill on the top side. They don't get the objective, but they do get 2 kills.
Yeah, they do get the kills, but I think the issue is for Dusty now, they're probably still going to be able to get the objective. I think FGG and Venza, they recognize now at the top side they're probably going to have to sack it, just play for this 2v2 lead at this point. It looks like Buckland's playing some kind of interrupt. Haru's actually quite low. He does have smite for HP.
But Bagland is there, the damage is there. He has to smite for HP and then flag and drag over the wall. So just take Zoe to zone out the Rift Herald. Won't be able to do it herself, obviously. So she's going to be backing away. It's going to be stalled out. But saving a little bit of time will allow Alif and Backland to get in. But this is the fight that we just saw. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so Alif, really nice flash body slam. Jaeger plays this exceptionally well, though, because he procs the phase rush, he knocks away Viking to ensure that, considering he's already used the audacious charge, there can be no more follow-up. Viking, I don't think he actually has vision in that bush, so he can't interrupt the flag and drag, gets bursted down really quickly, and the Crescent Guard actually does block out so much damage, but unfortunately still burns down. And Alif, because he committed that flash to try and take down Jaeger. Very easy pickings for the remainder of the top side of X7. So really nice from them to, you know, obviously clean up the attempted play from Dusty. I think execution was definitely there, just didn't quite have the damage to burst down Jaeger, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, if you're a Dusty fan, if you're an X7 fan,
yeah,
it's pretty fortunate to me. Rift Herald still sitting pretty on the top side of the map. We're going to have Dragon up in 45 seconds, so we're on to new Corky hours, as people have been calling it to me. No, thumbs down, that's fine, no worry. Just because the week after this patch, which was a little while ago now, but I haven't been on Div 1 since week 2, so I'm going to talk about it. I've got just a list of things. I had a couple, there was like a full-on segment that I planned after week 2.
Yes.
And then this is the first time back, so we'll have to decide if we actually managed.
We had a long, we'll call it a vacation.
Oh, we were doing Div 2. It's a great league in its own right. Kasing needs to be careful flashing out of the box, but there's going to be Cataclysm. Viking now caught up in the wrong place, but Kasing gets sniped from across the map in the downtown bot lane. Yeah. FGG flashing away, but Jinx is here with the damage, shooting FGG to pieces as Backland skips back towards the mid lane. The Dragon's still standing, no one's got it, but X7 thinking about it. Tempt needs to dodge away, using ultimate actually to get away from Zoe. Backland looking for the snipe, and once again, this Zoe is going to try and play defense, but gets caught up by the charm. A lot of damage coming out of this Ahri, who's going to be able to back away, but Backland now chasing forward, doesn't care about the Dragon, wants to get the kill on the mid lane, and misses out on the bubble, but there is so much going on. One more, and that's a solo bolo going over to Backland. The Dragon will be secured by Nata. You thought that was a Dusty Jinx, didn't you?
I thought that was like a Dusty Jinx or like a Venza Q over the wall or something. It just gave me a bit of a fright. But yeah, X7, they pick up the second Dragon's Cloud, and now we're going to get a mountain as we get a look at this replay here. And it's Dusty and Viking, rather, and FGG just trying to contest for the skull. They don't get it. They almost find Kasing, but Haru immediately locks down Viking. This time, Tempt is able to get in range of the Crescent Guard and actually execute his target. And yeah, FGG just caught between a rock and a hard place. Doesn't really have a flash to get to anywhere. And too much burst damage. I will say, a lot of damage returned onto Tempt, which does, you know, at least give me hope, at least sort of moving into the later stages from this point on, that if a binding does connect and then it can actually be followed up on, that target's probably gonna die.
Absolutely. And I mean, Dusty are taking these fights blow for blow. In the top side, blow for blow as Aleph.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually get very much down, and now Jaeger misses a couple of skill shots too. Yep. Just thought, you know what? Why should we all hit all our stuff? Why would we do that? But Haru back on the top side is looking to get this Rift held. Of course, there's only a minute until plates fall off, a little bit over. So grabbing this one, he's going to have to drop it somewhere quickly, mid or top. What are we feeling?
I don't think it really matters. I think as long as they get it onto the target they want, they could even effectively beeline it to the bottom lane. But, you know, given how high up Venza and FGG have been playing, it's going to be difficult to actually get a placement down with the full tower. This tower, though, looks very, very juicy. 2.5 plates. I reckon Haru and Jaeger going to fancy their chances at taking the tower down. Viking is here for the read, though. Looking at summoners across the map, Barkland attempts no teleport, so there's going to be no intervention from the mid lane. And Viking just yields it. HP not really high enough on Aleph's end for them to feel confident enough to actually defend it. Now, what would be unfortunate if a second charge goes down for Dusty. X7 would feel very, very good about that, but this bottom side tower smashed in before 40 minutes, all 5 plates.
He's trying to defend it, but in the top side, yeah, he's going to have to back away. Haru's there, no charge comes through from the Rift Tail, but Aleph going to be called out by the Cataclysm. Haru grabs the kill, Viking moving forward, trying to take down the other top laner, and he may well be able to do it, burning low, but Jaeger will walk. Now Haru and Viking going toe-to-toe. The mid laners are both moving up, side by side. Remember, Zoe is really strong, puts Tempt to sleep, but she will be able to dash away Ahri. Able to just sneak out of that one. Tempt survives, and X7 only team to pick up a kill in that situation. But all of these engagements, these small skirmishes, are so close.
Yeah, they are really close. I feel like X7 just got away with a heist here.
Perfect crime.
Perfect crime, one may say, yeah. They pick up Aleph. They don't quite get the second charge. I think if they get the second charge, that is, you know, that feels bad for Dusty. And X7 kind of just laughed to the bank with just about everything. Tempt tried to rotate up as well. Barkland's been doing a really good job of trying to keep Tempt down in that regard, despite not having too much mid lane priority. The CS numbers actually just evenly matched. So doing his best. Despite it's just the way the lane matchup, I suppose, goes. I don't feel like I've seen too much Ahri Zoe in recency, even with Ahri rising to prominence recently. It's not particularly a matchup you see too frequently still, as Venza and FGG have been rotated to the top side of the map.
Makes sense.
I think it does make sense in the context of trying to take down some towers, but I feel like at this point, no plates left on the map. You probably want to shove this lane mid lane. Maybe put Zoe on the bottom side and just keep Aleph top, to be honest with you. But we'll see how this lane assignment works out. Right now, Jaeger into the 2v1 has absolutely no assistance. It looks like X7 playing for this bottom side tower into Aleph. They know this is likely just going to be the strong side, weak side split of the map here. So Aleph, let's see how your weak side is. Do do recognize this is about to be a dive. Looks like a little bit too late.
Ooh, Haru is just trying to cut Aleph off and put some damage down. Don't think this is likely to be a 1v1 kill. Jinx will assist with the ultimate, but it looks like actually dive might be in the offing. Diving at Gragas is brave, and Haru has got the memo, so he's going to be backing away. In the top side, Dusty going to be pushing in, doing a lot more damage to his tower than X7 have on the bot side, but J will be able to... Jager, sorry. I just went back to 2017 for a second there. Goodness me. But they'll be able to get a decent chunk of the damage themselves, and with Jinx down here solo, Nata might be able to pick up this tower.
Yeah, absolutely. Nata should be able to pick this one up. Aleph still very much aware.
Haru's kind of in a bad spot. Actually going to have to go for the dive, and Necessity turns around, takes the tower, but they're going towards Nata. Jinx will be able to get excited and run away from the cask, and now Viking decides maybe this wasn't the play, gets caught up with the Cataclysm. The Zap will also land. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, and I don't think Viking's long for as well. Gets hit by the charm and is taken down by Tempt, who will secure his third kill of the game. And honestly, it's felt like Backland has had the run of this mid lane, but when you look at how the farm difference is super small, Tempt is actually the one getting the work done.
Yeah, I feel like even though, Buckland's doing a good job of responding to Tempt's roams, Tempt is still moving first.
Yes.
That's the crucial thing. He's making it to these plays first, so he's having his impact felt, just a couple of seconds before Backland is. And League of Legends can be a game of milliseconds, let alone seconds. So that's just the way that the pendulum is swinging right now. And it's just a bit of a head-scratching decision from Dusty from my point of view, because I feel like you had established the strong side, weak side. Why is Viking on the bottom side? Why isn't it on the top side diving Jaeger, trying to execute that tower on the top side? Because you can see on the minimap, it is incredibly weak. It's probably less than 500 HP, given the indicator. Yeah, that looks around 750-ish. And even right now, despite this technically being Dusty's strong side, Venza doesn't feel confident enough to walk up to this tower until right now to actually take it down. Whilst X7 pick up this dragon on the bottom side.
Exactly.
So, strange one. They accomplished what they were on the top side to do. It just feels like it's a minute 30, well, a minute and a half, later than it probably should have been.
And you just said, League of Legends is a game of milliseconds, a game of inches, as Backland and Tempt both just throw abilities a little bit wide. Yeah. But if you're saying, look, seconds matter, first rotation, 2-3 seconds, I know junglers, of course, ourselves being part of that illustrious guild.
Oh.
3 or 4 seconds can mean all the difference between a gank and silver-free elo. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a minute and a half behind the play against a team like X7, who...
and they will punish you for negative time if it was like, you'll be
honestly,
on time. And
they're like, yo, you're a minute and a half late. You need to be at this play 2 minutes early to make anything happen, because they're just so good. The shot calling is great. The individual players are great. Just, it's a good team. They're going to be tied up pretty much top of the table. Almost confirmed. I know Initialize went through very well, more eloquently than we could possibly ever speak about any topic.
I think, given the way the head-to-heads work,
Bifrost can
technically still catch them if X7 drop a game after this, or something silly like that. And it would at worst be a tiebreaker.
Yes.
So X7, it's one of those things, right, where it's like, okay, X7, they've not confirmed first place, but
like probably...
in most cases it should be.
Haru should be okay. He gets away from the red buff. Will lose out on the steal this time around, though, as Viking actually gets his buff, which is... It's nice for the Xin Zhao, but...
Oh.
Looks like Nata. This is the thing, though. There's still opportunities for Dusty.
Exactly.
They are a little bit behind, but if they can catch out Nata, they can catch out the Jinx. You're putting a lot of eggs in this little bot lane basket.
Exactly. And I will say, I think for Dusty's comp, what's great about it from a sort of being at this kind of threshold where you're around 2,000, 3,000 gold behind, is there is so much burst damage and so much non-committal CC that all it takes is one of those CCs connecting for you to realistically come back into the game, especially when you look at, the likes of Haru or, of course, Nata. They both have 300 gold, or 350 in Nata's case. Gold bounties, that can go a long way if it lands in the pocket of Venza, if it lands in the pocket of Barkland. So got to be keeping their eyes on that. And Nata as well, especially, in these small pockets of Fog of War. I really want to see FGG try and play from these small pockets of Fog of War where he knows he has that sort of advantage and try and pick on the AD carry, or even Tempt. I mean, Tempt being as mobile as he is on the Ahri, if you can find that first bit of CC, it can be very easy to actually execute her despite that mobility. So taking a look at the gold, which we just had up on our screens. Not too many major discrepancies, with the exception of the top lane.
And jungle.
I guess the jungle is actually quite big as well, 2,000. So it was maybe like just under 1,000. But 2,000 gold in the jungle, 2,000 on the top.
It's like, you haven't given up any gold leads, you know, except to Jaeger and Haru.
Yeah,
that's
like,
fine, don't worry about
I think when you look at the draft, it kind of makes sense, right? Jace is always going to have a free time into Gragas in most cases when there's no jungle intervention. And I mean, Caitlyn is designed to kind of be ahead. In this case, not quite there, or maybe as far ahead as you'd maybe want, but definitely not trailing to a massive detriment. So it does make sense that we're seeing the gold fall as it is, as we've kind of now broken into this 1-3-1.
Jaeger's in a lot of trouble here, actually. Gonna have to flash away from the Everfrost as Gragas following through. The snipe from Lux takes alone, and the Comet secures the kill. Excellent play. You said FGG with the lasers is gonna cause some issues. The first of many?
Potentially. We'll have to see whether he can keep his aim true and actually find his mark on those cross-map snipes, as technically it was the rune that got him the kill.
Yeah, but you have to land the ult to get like all of the other damage.
I'm just trying to be mean. I'm trying to be
Oh yeah, FGG, you're nothing but a rune. Jamada out here in like last week, like, oh, can we get a nice graphic for FGG? He's so good. And then it's like rubbish, arcing comets, all that matters.
Okay, all right.
That's all I'm saying, bro. I mean, right, let's get back on track.
Okay.
We've got a lot of League of Legends to talk about. We can't be getting sidetracked with nonsense. Game 1. And we're only 20 minutes in.
All right, fine.
Baron won't stand for this. How long will Baron stand for? Because these teams, so often we talk about teams that just don't have good Baron taking potential, whether that's failure of draft or just the meta that we're in, here or there. But these two teams strike me as the kind that might actually have something. They've actually got an engage down onto Aleph as well. He's going to put the cast down. His ultimate is used. Jinx going to snipe and will secure the kill. Chasing on, getting excited. On the side, though, Viking is in trouble. Haru's there, but there's going to be the ultimate Temp looking forward. Misses the charm. Will there be enough damage to take down Zinzao? I'm not sure. Yes, there will in the end. You've got Demazi still standing, but Haru will be able to come down with Temp. They got themselves onto Zoe, who has to go golden, but Nata is there and can do so much. Nice snipe, nice dodge. Temp gets away. No snipe going through the ace in the hole, won't land. Jaeger gets the body block as Haru will step away. Somehow X7 survive with all their members intact, and Dusty only lose 2 people. Rift Herald is going to be wasted. It will get a charge. Won't get more than that.
Yeah, I've got to say, daylight robbery from X7, man. I feel like at least one person should have died for this play.
Oh. That minion is hooked, cursing, and will get taken down. But it's teleport coming through, actually, so X7 deciding to disengage a little bit. Aleph moving forward, has respawned.
Yep.
But doesn't have the opportunity to engage particularly. Ult is not available for Gragas for another 10-15 seconds, and X7 happy to just move back into the jungle. There's a dragon there. It will set themselves up for Soul Point, and Dusty know this. They don't want to be giving X7 chances where they're going to put Nata to sleep. Uses the cleanse, will get the zap. Aleph going away. That's a huge cataclysm under 3 members. Jinx moving forward, and now is looking towards Gragas on the backside. You can see Haru is down, but Jaeger goes through and gets the kill onto Caitlyn. Viking needs to be careful, cutting down, secures a kill, but Tempt is following through in the pit. Gragas has nothing as Nata turns his attention back towards the objective. Tempt did grab the kill onto Zinzao on the way out off screen as well. So FGG, the only person to survive. Again, X7, daylight robbery.
It kind of does feel like that at points, right? But I feel like this was just a really strong engage from Haru. I think out of Fog of War, out of the Dragon Pit, finds 3 members, and it's just beautifully followed up by the Jinx ultimate from the bottom side of the map. This is initially very good, but unfortunately Nata's cleanse has come back up, and then Haru flash engage, knock up as well. Venza does Gale Force out of it, or net out of it, but can't really survive that much damage once Jaeger eventually arrives on the scene. Jaeger does die for his crimes, but at the end of the day, the damage is already done. You lost, you know, your core members as Dusty quite quickly, and Tempt finishes off Viking on the top end of the fight. It just feels like, at least to me, I think I kind of underlined some of the conditions very briefly for Dusty in some of these mid-game team fights, and it's about being in front of, you know, objectives first for this team. And they've just not been able to do it like once, it feels like. It's always been X7 first, it's always been X7 in the driver's seat in terms of who's actually getting these engages off. And I feel like if Dusty can just do it once, they might find some success. Even with this sort of 6,000 gold deficit they find themselves in, I think there's still enough burst damage left in this composition for themselves to, you know, find the pick onto the likes of Tempt or Nata, especially now that there's no cleanse. Nata's shown that he can get hit by these skill shots. He's not been reacting with the flash. If they can actually find him, even on that front alone, that might be enough for them.
But he doesn't have the cleanse. He has the flash. Now might be the time where he starts using that insurance policy. Dusty moving mid. Interesting to say that you still have some confidence in them with that gold deficit, as you said, because it's pretty big. Teleport coming into the side as well. Tempt moving forward as well. Haru tries to get engaged, gets onto one. Venza is gone as Dusty moving towards the tower, but it's still standing, still shooting, still helping them out as X7 keep getting kills. That's 3 on the bounce. Double kill going over to Jaeger as well. X7 this time around, perfect collapse, move towards the Baron, could look to secure this objective. And hey, the 6k gold, there was hope. 7,500 gold?
Yeah. Plus this Baron, I don't know. I think it was a really well executed pincer there from X7. It's from all sides, just absolutely surrounded. And yet again, it's just the strength of the composition here from X7, I think, shining through. There's not really too many barriers to entry to playing a composition like this. You've got your engage through Haru on the Jarvan, and that's all it really takes as long as the follow-up can come through. It's just a bit of a, I won't say an overcommit, but Dusty definitely stepping a little bit too far forward. And yeah, unfortunately, pincered from the bottom side by Tempt and by the teleport. Carries immediately blown up Viking. Crescent Guard can't keep him alive. With just the jungler dead and with Avenza off the map, that was enough for them to secure that Baron. And then we'll see how much more they can get done with that buff. Still got the two side lane towers, tier 2s up and available to take down. But you imagine X7 with the level of efficiency they've been playing with that, this should probably be a base break. But again, Dusty's composition is built around sieging, whether it's defending or obviously, ideally with this comp you want to be attacking.
Yes.
You do want to be in front of these towers first. I think the wave clear is maybe a little bit lacking in terms of looking at a Baron buff, but they can still make things work. It's just going to be about how much damage you can see Jaeger's going to put into the team with these accelerated shock blasts.
Things going fishing, but it's going to be the engage coming onto Jaeger. He's able to dive away with the Lantern. Nata also moving off. Haru going for the side, gets onto Aleph alone, who's an interesting target, and Haru actually burning down, has to flag and drag away to disengage this time around. And Dusty feeling themselves. Viking moves forward, trying to get onto Nata, but the rest of the team has responded very, very well, kissing over the wall, doesn't find anything, but Venza is gone. Gragas is gone. Viking is dead. And Tempt is moving forward, looking for backland. The Zoe should get cut down as well. It's simple as that. It's only FGG standing. The Lux support is the only one there. X7 breaking the base at minimum.
Yeah, that was the bare minimum. They could end the game on this push. They've got 20 seconds left. The death timers, I think they're just too long here for Dusty. I think X7 should be able to wrap this one up quite cleanly. Just felt like Dusty were never able to really play towards this Caitlyn too well in the mid game. I think the laning phase went great, but X7 after that, the composition just really plays itself. Don't think Dusty's composition has been too hard to execute, but they just weren't really able to meet those thresholds. And X7, with a couple of daylight robberies in between, but they make it work for themselves. Got their 14th win of the split into Dusty.